Poor sleep after 40 is not a habit problem, it is a hormone problem. Millions of people go to bed exhausted every single night and lie there wide awake for hours, and almost every single one of them is told the same wrong thing. Try melatonin, cut back on caffeine, put your phone down earlier, practice better sleep hygiene. And they do all of that, and they still cannot sleep because the advice completely misses what is actually happening. And until you address it at that level, no amount of melatonin or blue light glasses or white noise machines is going to give you back the deep restorative sleep your body is desperately trying to get. Today, I am going to show you exactly what is happening hormonally while you lie awake, why waking up at 2 or 3 in the morning is not random, and what fixing sleep at the root level actually looks like. I'm Dr. Katherine Ortiz from DNA Wellness and Longevity Institute. Before we get into what is breaking your sleep, I want to make sure you understand what sleep is actually doing because most people dramatically underestimate it. Sleep is not rest. Sleep is your body's primary repair and regeneration window, and almost every critical biological process you depend on for health, longevity, metabolism, and cognitive function either happens during sleep or depends on the quality of sleep you are getting. During deep sleep, your body releases the majority of its daily human growth hormone, the hormone responsible for tissue repair, muscle preservation, fat metabolism, and cellular regeneration. During REM sleep, your brain consolidates memory, processes emotional experience, and clears metabolic waste products through a system called the glymphatic system, essentially a nightly cleanse of your brain tissue. Your immune system does the majority of its repair work while you sleep. Your cortisol resets to its lowest point in the early morning hours, setting up your entire hormonal rhythm for the following day. Insulin sensitivity improves with adequate sleep and deteriorates rapidly without it. Even 2 or 3 nights of poor sleep measurably increases insulin resistance. When sleep breaks down, everything else follows. Metabolism slows, cortisol rises, hunger hormones become dysregulated, cognitive performance drops, inflammation increases, and the hormonal environment that supports everything from fat loss to mood to longevity begins to deteriorate. Sleep is not a luxury. It is the foundation that everything else is built on. So, what is actually disrupting your sleep at the hormonal level? There are 4 primary drivers, and in most people over 40, more than one of these is active simultaneously. Driver 1, progesterone decline. Progesterone is your calming, sedating hormone. It promotes the onset of sleep and supports the deep, slow-wave sleep stages where the most significant physical repair happens. And it is typically the first hormone to decline significantly as you move through your late 30s and into your 40s. When progesterone drops, sleep becomes lighter, more fragmented, and less restorative, even when you are technically getting enough hours. You fall asleep fine, but wake repeatedly through the night. You feel like you slept 8 hours, but wake up more exhausted than when you went to bed. That is not insomnia in the clinical sense. That is what shallow progesterone deficient sleep feels like. And it is one of the most consistent and most overlooked drivers of the sleep complaints I hear from women in their 40s and beyond. Driver 2, cortisol dysregulation. Under normal circumstances, cortisol follows a predictable daily curve. It peaks in the early morning to wake you up and gradually declines throughout the day, reaching its lowest point around midnight to allow deep sleep to occur. But when you are under chronic stress, when you are over-exercising, under-eating, or running on insufficient sleep for extended periods, that curve becomes dysregulated. Cortisol stays elevated into the evening when it should be dropping, or it crashes too early and then spikes again in the early morning hours. Ow. Exactly what wakes you up at 2 or 3 in the morning with a racing mind and a heart that is beating just a little too fast. That 2 or 3 in the morning awakening is not random. It is a cortisol spike. And it is your body responding to a stress signal, real or perceived, with the hormone designed to mobilize you for action at 2 in the morning when all you want to do is sleep. Driver 3, estrogen fluctuation. Estrogen plays a significant role in sleep architecture. It supports the production of serotonin, which is a precursor to melatonin, and it helps regulate body temperature, which is one of the key physiological triggers for sleep onset. When estrogen begins fluctuating unpredictably during perimenopause, two things happen that directly destroy sleep quality. First, hot flashes and night sweats, which are vasomotor symptoms triggered by estrogen instability, physically wake you from sleep repeatedly throughout the night. Second, the disruption to serotonin production means your body's natural melatonin production is compromised at the source, which is exactly why taking supplemental melatonin often does not work as well as expected. You are trying to top off a tank that has a hole in it. Driver 4, blood sugar instability. This one surprises most people because it does not sound hormonal, but blood sugar is entirely hormonal, and its impact on sleep is profound and almost universally overlooked. When blood sugar drops too low during the night, and which happens more readily when you have underlying insulin resistance or when you ate a high carbohydrate dinner, your body releases adrenaline and cortisol to bring it back up. That hormonal response is sufficient to pull you out of deep sleep or wake you entirely. It is your body's emergency fuel system activating at midnight, and it creates a pattern of middle of the night waking that looks exactly like anxiety or stress insomnia, but is actually a metabolic event happening below the surface. I want to address melatonin directly because it is the first thing most people reach for and the first thing most doctors recommend. Melatonin is a sleep timing hormone. It signals to your body that it is dark and time to prepare for sleep. What it does not do is address the quality or depth of sleep once you are asleep. It does not replace progesterone's effect on slow wave sleep. It does not correct a dysregulated cortisol curve. It does not stabilize blood sugar through the night. It does not address the estrogen fluctuations driving night sweats and temperature dysregulation. In other words, melatonin can help you fall asleep faster, but it cannot give you the deep restorative sleep your body needs if the underlying hormonal environment is not supporting it. Taking melatonin for a hormone-driven sleep problem is like taking a painkiller for a broken bone. It manages the symptom, it does not fix the cause. So, what does addressing this properly actually look like? First, get your cortisol curve assessed, not just a single point in time cortisol reading, but a full diurnal cortisol panel that maps your levels across 4 points throughout the day. This tells you exactly where your curve is dysregulated and what is driving the middle of the night awakening, which then tells you exactly what to address. Second, assess progesterone, estrogen, and testosterone together as a system, not in isolation, because the ratio between these hormones matters as much as the individual levels. Bioidentical progesterone taken in the evening is one of the most reliably effective interventions for sleep quality I've seen clinically surpassed, but it has to be the right form, the right dose, and the right timing to work properly. Third, let's stabilize blood sugar before bed by ensuring your evening meal includes adequate protein and healthy fat, and avoiding high glycemic carbohydrates late in the day that set up the midnight blood sugar drop. Fourth, protect your cortisol curve intentionally. Morning light exposure within 30 minutes of waking, consistent sleep and wake times, even on weekends, and magnesium glycinate in the evening, which directly supports the nervous system's ability to downregulate cortisol and transition into sleep. These are not band-aid solutions. These are targeted interventions that address the actual biological mechanisms keeping you awake. And when they are applied correctly based on your specific hormonal picture, the sleep that comes back is not just longer. It is deeper, more restorative, and genuinely different from anything a supplement alone could produce. If you have not slept well in months or years, if you have tried everything and nothing has worked, I want you to consider that you have not been treating the right thing. The sleep is not the problem. The sleep is the symptom. And the problem, the hormonal dysregulation driving it, is addressable when you know what you are actually looking at. We have a free hormone quiz at defynaturalaging.com that will help you identify which hormonal patterns are most likely disrupting your sleep right now. 2 minutes to take it. Potentially years of better sleep on the other side of it. Go to defynaturalaging.com and take the quiz. Your body has not forgotten how to sleep. It just needs the right conditions to do it.